Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Monday, the 2nd of February. This is CTV News. Tonight, a woman walking through a parking lot is struck and killed by a snowplow. The doctor dilemma, the battle to reverse a troubling trend. And Insta-famous, meet the 90-year-old from New Brunswick who's a social media sensation.
Live from our Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. One person was taken to hospital after a sizable fire in Moncton this evening. Crews were called to the 300 block of Lute Street around 5:45 to a residential home that had been converted to apartments. Firefighters found themselves dealing with thick black smoke when they arrived, so an additional truck was summoned from Dieppe. Platoon Chief Paul Bruins tells CTV News the blaze was hot and burning very intensely. One of the 6 residents was taken to hospital with injuries. The severity is unknown tonight. Multiple reports online say there was an explosion, but Bruins says that and the cause are still under investigation tonight. Some anxious moments at Nova Scotia's best-known tourist attraction on this cold day. Emergency crews dispatched to Peggy's Cove just before 4 p.m. after reports suggested 2 people may have fallen off the rocks into the frigid ocean water. The 911 call came from someone watching a live feed from the site. Along with local fire and emergency crews, 2 Coast Guard ships and 2 helicopters were deployed, but nothing was found in the water. In addition, crews on land verified the safety of everybody visiting, cross-referencing with vehicles in the parking lot. Investigators believe the Good Samaritan watching the video may have been misled when the feed refreshed, so ultimately it turned out to be a false alarm. Our latest blast of winter weather has proven deadly in one Nova Scotia town. Police say a woman in Truro was killed after she was hit by a snowplow. The unfortunate incident has prompted an outpouring of support for her heartbroken family. CTV's Callum Smith has more.
It was around 6:30 this morning at this car dealership when a woman was hit by a snowplow.
A private contractor was plowing snow in the parking lot and tragically backed up and struck a pedestrian who was cutting through the parking lot at the same time on foot.
That pedestrian, 54-year-old Tina Kleik, a beloved aunt, cousin, and sister.
Tina was so much to so many. She never missed a niece or a nephew, a hockey game, basketball game, volleyball game, birthday. She was there for everything, for everybody in the family. She was a rock.
Making her way into another shift at Sobeys, where she's worked for 22 years. Paramedics took her to hospital where she died of her injuries.
We were devastated. We were shocked. Still right now, it's still really hard to comprehend because it happened very unexpectedly.
Truro's police chief says it was snowing at the time and there were pretty substantial winds, meaning visibility was definitely an issue. The plow truck has been seized for mechanical testing to ensure everything was working, but the chief says at this point it does not appear to be criminal in nature, rather a tragic accident. Police say the woman appeared to be cutting through the parking lot in an effort to save time on her way to work.
We have a driver of a vehicle that went to work this morning not intending to be involved in something like this, and we have an innocent person that was making her way to work this morning, and that was the last thing she thought would happen. So tragedy all around, no doubt.
Our thoughts are with the family. Who wants to wake up to hear this?
Now they're left with a shock and heartbreak. Callum Smith, CTV News, Truro.
Much of the Maritimes did manage to avoid the worst of this latest nor'easter, but not so in Cape Breton.
So it basically takes me a full day to shovel this out.
It was deja vu for a lot of folks. The last storm almost exactly a week ago. This one brought a lot more snow, though, leaving crews working around the clock.
We've had guys out pretty well all night just trying to keep main roads open for emergencies and so on, but now we're just starting to get into secondary roads at noontime. So we're going to be into this one until well into tomorrow for sure.
It's crazy. I don't know where to put it. We get so much snow, it's like it's hard to shovel it, and it's hard on the back, hard on the knees.
The storm was not as severe, but snow-covered highways still made things tricky, especially during the morning commute.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
This is bound to be discouraging. The number of New Brunswickers seeking a family doctor has risen substantially by tens of thousands, in fact. The province says it is determined to reverse the trend. CTV's Laura Brown has details.
Premier Susan Holt admitted she had some salty language, as she put it, when she learned the number of people waiting for a doctor has actually increased over the last year.
But it is what it is, and we're not going to hide it.
In 1 year, the waitlist has grown by 40,000 people. Now about 238,000 are waiting for a primary care provider in the province. That's about a third of the population, and those who are part of that unfortunate group say it's not easy.
I've been waiting for one in the digital line for over 3 years now, and yeah, it is really challenging, unfortunately.
Have you had to go to the ER?
Yes, multiple times. I believe it was last year, yeah.
And did you wait for a long time?
Waited approximately for 7 to 10 hours.
For all of the promises that they were going to change healthcare, it's actually getting worse.
The whole government has gone full speed ahead on the collaborative care concept, where doctors, nurse practitioners, dietitians, and other healthcare professionals spread out the workload. 11 were opened or expanded last year, but the health minister admitted they're not seeing the impact yet.
Every clinic that we announced last year, none of them signed on 6,000 patients the next day. In fact, many waited until the contract was signed, and now the chickens are coming home to roost.
The Premier is promising another 11 or 12 this year in an effort to shrink that number. Laura Brown, CTV News, Fredericton.
Canada Computers is reporting a data breach impacting some customers who entered personal information and checked out as guests between December 29th and the 22nd of January. The technology retailer ships right across the country and does have a store in the Bears Lake area of Halifax. Company says credit card details for anyone who did not log in to their Canada Computers member account while making a purchase during that time may have had that data stolen. A law firm in Nova Scotia is proposing a class action lawsuit against Nova Scotia Power. The lawsuit, filed by McGilvery Law, is seeking certification from the Supreme Court of Nova Scotia. It would represent customers affected by the utilities data breach and those who say they were billed for power they did not use. The firm says more than 13,000 people have come forward so far, raising concerns about leaked personal information and power bills.
If a person owed Nova Scotia Power money at any other time, they would have been hit with interest charges. Functionally, that's something that we think Nova Scotia Power should do, even now, as a gesture of goodwill to its customers, to say, you know, if we have overestimated your bill and we have had more money than we should have taken from you, we believe that they should be paying interest on that.
The law firm is seeking financial compensation and broader regulatory change. People who own, run, and work in Nova Scotia restaurants are hoping to drum up a little business during this traditionally slow time of year. They're using pricing to help make that happen. Here's CTV's Jesse Thomas.
Cold winter months can be slow for restaurants. Fewer customers, tighter budgets, rising costs. It's why the Restaurant Association of Nova Scotia and 160 businesses are taking part in Dine Around that aims to get people dining out with specially priced menu deals for the month of February.
So Valentine's, of course, that's a very busy time of day for restaurants. But other than that, January and February are just always the slowest time of year.
The pressure on the restaurant industry is real, from food inflation to labor shortages to higher utility costs. It all adds up. At the Wooden Monkey in Dartmouth, Dine Around, it's a welcome boost.
Gets people out and come on, you're Canadian, it's February, you're hungry, you've been shoveling all day. I think it's time for you to come out for dinner.
I think it's an extra bit of incentive for people to head out when it's particularly cold and not so nice to be out and around, right?
The Restaurant Association says 41% of restaurants across the country are either losing money or just breaking even.
I think everybody's doing the stay vacation home, and they're eating in restaurants at home, and it's really got this wonderful Canadian feel.
There's a charitable element, with some restaurants donating a portion of their Dine Around menu to feed Nova Scotia. Jesse Thomas, CTV News, Dartmouth.
As difficult as today's storm was, it pales in comparison to another big weather event that hit our region 50 years ago tonight. CTV's Nick Moore looks back on the Groundhog Day gale.
Nobody expected February 2nd, 1976 to be a day that would be remembered in our region for the decades to follow.
There was no warning. I think that was one of the big issues with the storm. The weather forecast was strong winds, and then suddenly this worst event hit.
UNBSJ professor and author Greg Marquis was a grade 12 student at St. Malachy's High in St. John 50 years ago during the Groundhog Day gale. Marquis remembers school being let out early as storm conditions became significantly worse.
We were told to go to the bus, get a bus, city bus at King Square, and it was a pretty harrowing ride home. And we went across Reversing Falls.
The ferocious storm hit at the same time as exceptionally high tides in the Bay of Fundy, leading to a devastating storm surge.
Wind gusts near 190 kilometers per hour produced 12-meter waves along the coast.
And a lot of the impacts were something you'd expect out of a hurricane as well. We don't see these very often. In fact, it set a record for low barometric pressure in the state of Maine, which is where the center of the storm moved through.
Materials were ripped from the Brunswick Square Tower in uptown St. John, which was under construction. Fishing boats took on water. Electrical infrastructure crashed to the ground. The covered bridge in Cambridge Narrows, New Brunswick was torn apart. There was widespread damage reported throughout southern New Brunswick and southwest Nova Scotia.
Now, this is what I would consider a once-in-a-multi-decadal type storm system.
A storm from out of the blue, right into maritime history. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. John.
Still to come tonight, Kalen's full forecast for this week, and we'll examine the impact of African Heritage Month, which started when the calendar flipped over. Coming up next, though, a golden moment.
Silver prices have increased 22%. Gold is up 59%.
Renewed interest in old jewelry these days, for reasons you may have figured out. Details are next. Stay with us.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter.
Join us as we broadcast live from beaches, Turks and Caicos for Password to Paradise.
You could win your way here. Listen tomorrow at 6 for your first password.
Even with the occasional dip, gold and silver prices have been soaring in recent weeks, prompting a flurry of sellers going through their jewelry boxes, looking for pieces that are suddenly worth significantly more. Here's CTV's Emma Convey.
Floki Kennedy is a sterling artist. He buys broken jewelry, fixes some, and melts others down to create something new. Since gold and silver jumped in price, he spends more time at this local pawn shop.
Sell it here, and then I can buy silver and other pieces that I can use in my work.
You definitely see a lot of people coming in being like, do you have any gold bullion? Do you have any silver bullion, silver coins, gold coins? And, you know, it's just hard to keep this stuff in stock.
Chris Pollock with Canada Gold says the increased demand started in November. The magnitude and length of demand at this time is the most he's seen in 17 years.
Silver prices have increased 22%. Gold is up 59%. And then if we go back a little bit further, 12 months, we're actually seeing gold prices almost doubling, up 86%. And silver has more than tripled.
They are seeing lineups of people cashing in their jewelry, but also looking to invest in the precious metals.
The mint is ramping up their production, making as much as they can. And still, in spite of that, they're not able to keep up with demand.
The higher the price of gold, the better it is for these local pawn shops, especially when it comes to bullion.
Nothing for sale. Everything is bought out.
Experts advise to invest, but not everything. And keep an eye, as the market is always fluctuating. Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Emma. Time for a quick little break, but when we return, it's your complete maritime weather forecast. We're past the storm now, so what does the rest of the week hold? Kaylin has the answers coming up next. It is the second day of February. It's Monday night, and the storm, I guess, has basically moved on now. We're done with it. That's it.
Yeah, and much of the Maritimes really stayed out of the heaviest of the snow with that weather system. The higher snowfall amounts started showing up near the Atlantic coastline, pretty close to the Halifax area. Duncan's Cove reported 20 centimeters of snow and then extended up the eastern shore of that province, where there were reports between 20 and 30 centimeters, and then into Cape Breton, similar snowfall totals there. And then the storm went on to impact Newfoundland with potentially higher snowfall amounts for some areas, though I know St. John's itself picked up pretty close to 30 centimeters and stronger wind gusts. So it had a bit more of a direct impact on Newfoundland as far as the Atlantic Canada region goes. Taking a look at our timeline for the rest of this evening and tonight around the Maritimes, it is partly cloudy conditions. It is a chance of flurries, with the chance of flurries highest in Prince Edward Island, around the north shore of Nova Scotia and Cape Breton, and that's in a northerly wind coming in off the Gulf of St. Lawrence. And that same part of the Maritimes will continue to have a higher chance of seeing some flurries throughout the day on Tuesday. Other parts of the region mostly looking at a lower chance of flurries. It'll be mostly cloudy tomorrow for Prince Edward Island, cloudy with occasional peaks of sunshine for Nova Scotia, and more of a mix of sun and cloud for the province of New Brunswick. Here's a look at the winds in the forecast. So for tonight, still mostly out of the north. For tomorrow, they remain out of the north for both Prince Edward Island and Nova Scotia. Sustained 10 to 20 kilometers per hour, maybe a few gusts between 20 and 40, but become more variable in direction in New Brunswick moving into the afternoon, and a little bit on the lighter side there, mostly being sustained between 5 and 10 kilometers per hour. Now, low temperatures tonight across the Maritimes will be mostly falling a few to several degrees below zero. A little bit colder than that for the province of New Brunswick, with a lot of lows in the range around -8 to -14. High temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow, pretty seasonable for early February. They'll be in the range around -2 to -5 in the north of New Brunswick, with central and southern parts of that province, with high temperatures between -1 and -4. Your high temperatures tomorrow for Prince Edward Island include -3 at Summerside and Cavendish, -2 at Charlottetown and Montague, and -1 at Surrey. In Cape Breton tomorrow, most of the high temperatures will be in the range around -1 to +2. Few communities, including Ingonish and St. Peter's, could see temperatures squeak just above the freezing mark. For the eastern shore and north shore of Nova Scotia, the high temperatures between -2 and +1. -2 at Amherst for tomorrow, -1 at Truro, near 0 for Halifax and Dartmouth, Chester and Lunenburg. Heading down the south shore, the high temperatures between 0 and 2 degrees, -1 for the Annapolis Valley. Taking a look at our extended forecast for New Brunswick, it's flurries on Wednesday, followed by a mix of sun and cloud and colder temperatures Thursday and Friday. Snow possible at the start of the weekend on Saturday, followed by flurries on Sunday and colder temperatures and a mix of sun and cloud on Monday of next week. For Nova Scotia, temperatures pretty close to averages for the first part of February over the next couple of days. Well, there are some flurries in the forecast. Flurries a little bit more widespread on Wednesday, and then back to being sort of spotty in coverage on Thursday. Cloudy periods in the forecast for Friday, snow possible on Saturday, and then flurries in the forecast for Sunday and Monday. And for Prince Edward Island, in the forecast, a chance of flurries on both Tuesday and Wednesday, as well as Thursday, though there might be a little bit more in the way of some sunshine. Temperatures get colder Friday into the start of the weekend. Snow possible on Saturday, and then some more flurries expected for Sunday and Monday. Bruce.
All right, thanks, sir. Wake up weather still to come. In the meantime, stay with us. We'll be right back.
#1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
So, depending on your province, February is either African Heritage Month or Black History Month. Either way, the event is dedicated to celebrating the impact and the accomplishments of Black Canadians. As CTV's Vanessa Wright shows us tonight, communities right across the region are ready to honor the past and a promising future.
The Pan-African flag went up at Fredericton City Hall this morning, a nod to the beginning of Black History Month in Canada and across the Maritimes.
When we think about particularly in Nova Scotia, our rich history as African Nova Scotians, having been here for over 400 years, and the contributions that African Nova Scotians have made to this province as well as to this country is very important to recognize.
Celebrations nationwide are just getting started. In Shelburne, Nova Scotia, an African Heritage Month proclamation was held at the Black Loyalist Heritage Centre. Their executive director, an 8th-generation descendant of the Black Loyalists, dedicates her time to commemorating that history.
We are not a museum where artifacts go to die. We are live, we are vibrant, we are historical, we are educational, we are informative. I know we say this, and every year we get a new theme, but to me, every year is almost an awakening, but also a reckoning with the past to figure out how we got here, why we got here, and what can we do to move forward.
The 2026 African Heritage Month theme is Strength and Unity, a fitting message for Nova Scotia's contribution and commitment to Black history.
It's an opportunity, listening, learning, understanding, and just to talk about how far we have come.
Vanessa Wright, CTV News.
Thank you, Vanessa. Time for one final break. Coming up, an unlikely Instagram star we know you will be delighted to meet. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at Moncton on this chilly Monday night. It's -4 right now in the hub city. Kaylin Mitchell tell you how to dress in the morning when we come back.
News doesn't wait, and neither should you. At home, at work, and on the go, stay connected with a team you can trust, anytime, anywhere. CTV Atlantic and ctvatlantic.ca. Watch live on Crave.
Tuesday morning now upon us. Let's kick it off with a look at the wake-up weather and Kaylin.
Well, it's February after all, so no surprise here, but a bit of a cold to chilly start to the day. Temperatures in Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island, parts of south of New Brunswick, a few to several degrees below zero, in the minus teens for other areas of New Brunswick. Mostly cloudy tomorrow for Nova Scotia and Prince Edward Island. There will be a chance of some flurries in New Brunswick, though, for the afternoon. A bit more of a mix of sun and cloud with the winds lighter, a little bit variable in direction for that province. Bruce.
All right, thank you, Kaylin. Well, a heartwarming story for you now about a man who's been playing music all his life. As CTV's Derek Haggett shows us, he recently received an international audience.
Cedric Landers has a hit on his hands. After playing music for almost his whole life, the soon-to-be 90-year-old has become an overnight sensation.
I can't register it yet. That it's really happened.
He plays every day for his wife, Marina. They've been married for 70 years. With a little help from her daughter, Marina posted videos of Cedric playing inspirational hymns on Facebook. The response was overwhelmingly positive, so she decided to create an Instagram account for her father.
So I thought, let's try that. So I started an account for Dad, and on December 30th, and it's taken off. The response is from around the world.
Yeah, I sat down and did a lot of this stuff.
1.3 million views and more than 10,000 followers all the way from South Korea to Brazil.
I can't believe it. That many people were listening to the radio. Well, not a radio, but that's what I call it.
It's all a bit hard for Cedric to wrap his mind around.
The people are out there listening for something. They're listening for something, and apparently sounds good to them, I guess.
Derek Haggett, CTV News, Lutz Mountain, New Brunswick.
Thank you, Derek. That is your late news for this Monday night. Just a reminder, if you tuned in a little late tonight, you'd like a second look at anything you've seen, ctvnewsatlantic.ca is always your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us. Have a good evening. We sure hope to see you again tomorrow night.